So Onyx said not too long ago, back in February, they said, do you think they're ready for what's coming with Goliath? Now, Goliath is basically their layer one blockchain. Now, nothing I say is financial advice, but why am I even talking about something that happened, or should I say something that they posted last month in February? Well, it's because my kind of perspective is that when it comes to the discussions regarding Goliath, it's pretty much kind of went to a screeching halt as of right now in terms of what's going on with social media and stuff, because a lot of people just don't really care about it anymore, right? They take a look at XCN, they're like, oh wow, it's around 51 times lower than 25 cents. It's not looking the best. So, you know, naturally, stuff like this hasn't really been a big discussion. And ever since February, it's not like the sentiment changed that much. It's still not doing the best when it comes to this space. But my kind of perception is this: I'm ready when it comes to if they do launch the mainnet of their layer one blockchain. The reason being is because I've been waiting for this for a very long time. We've seen the testnet, but we haven't seen the mainnet. And I think that if they could do it, actually, the sooner the better when it comes to Goliath, because first of all, people like to tell me that, oh, it needs to wait for when the price is doing good or when the sentiment changes. But I disagree with that, because usually when the sentiment becomes better, what happens? A lot of developers start entering, a lot of adoption starts wanting to happen, right? But usually when something is first launched, there might be some slight, imperfections, right? So it needs to wait for quite a while. So I think that if they do launch the mainnet, hopefully as soon as possible, what happens is I think that first of all, it gives them time to kind of work out all the imperfections to prepare later for mass adoption if it were to maybe ever even come. That's kind of my perception, right? So I think that when it comes to launching Goliath, at least the mainnet, I don't think it needs to wait for a good moment in time for the altcoin space to, recover and then they launch it. No, I don't think about it that way. I feel like the sooner the better, because at least it gives them time to improve it, maybe in order to, let's say, receive better adoption later, because if the momentum were to come later, it's more prepared, right? And also, let's keep in mind, I feel like as of right now is one of the worst times for me to kind of leave XCN. This is just personally my mindset. I am not telling anyone to do anything though. But if we take a look at it again, we're around 51 times lower than 25 cents. We're over 5 times lower in terms of market cap when compared to where XCN was just slightly over a year ago. It makes no sense for me to leave at a time like that. Again, I just want to say this, right? Altcoin season discussions have pretty much hit rock bottom levels, according to something called sentiment. I'm not going to leave at those moments. XCN is an altcoin. So if altcoins are not doing the best, what happens? XCN naturally is not going to be, going on an independent rally of its own, right? At least I would like to think so. And it's clearly not doing that. So it's just following the altcoin sentiment overall, in which case it's not doing the best. So what happens? XCN is not doing the best. So what, I'm going to leave at a moment when things are not doing the best and just realize all of the downwards movements? No, thank you. I'm not going to be doing that. No, sir. That's kind of my mindset. I'm not going to be doing any sort of leaving when it comes to projects as of right now. Again, it just makes no sense to me. It's like leaving at the most hardest part or something. Yeah, I don't want to do that. And also, if I think about it, like by me holding as of right now, it's not like I have to leave, right? So I'd rather be holding, because first of all, I don't want to realize all of the downwards movements. And if I were to leave just because everyone's, telling me to leave like that, it just kind of makes no sense. I'm not just going to leave because I thought it was cool to leave or because other people are doing it. No, I don't want to do that, because my mindset isn't like weeks, it's not like months, it might have to be years, because when I entered into this space, my mindset was dollar cost averaging once a month, right? Naturally, if that is my mindset, I'd have to probably be doing that for quite a while. So I knew that probably I'd have to wait for quite a while. Do I know the exact time? No, but I knew that I might have to wait for a bit, or at least maybe even a while. So I'm not necessarily like feeling any sort of additional pressure by staying or, by waiting. I waited already when it comes to XCN for quite a while. So if I had to wait like another year, 2 years, or whatever, I'm still going to be holding. That's kind of my mindset, because there is no time limit, right? What is the time limit really? This is not a contest, it's not a competition, it's not a race. So the way I take a look at it is, why do I have to leave right now? I don't want to. I don't want to do that. That's kind of my mindset. So when people like to tell me, oh, I should leave and all this, yeah, I don't want to do that, right? I mean, okay, sure, XCN is down by quite a lot, but anything I dollar cost average as of right now, basically, again, if it just could go back to where it once was, around slightly over a year ago, to around a billion market cap. Right now, we're below a 200 million market cap. So anything I dollar cost average as of right now, again, we're over 5 times lower than that. That's the thing. Over 5 times lower. Bitcoin is not over 5 times lower, right, than where it once was just around a year ago. This is just my mindset. It's had a pullback, but it's on around 5 times lower than that. But yeah, when it comes to Onyx, really, I mean, I get it. People like to say, oh, it's not doing that much when it comes to Zebic, right? Or compared to Zebic, I should say. Zebic is Onyx's closest competitor. I get that. Zebic seems to be doing a lot more things in terms of the partnerships and stuff like that. You know, they had a partnership with Algorand, right? We saw what they did when it comes to the memes, which I get it seems a little bit comical, people like to say, but still, you know, they did do something in regards to that when it comes to the cards, the Zebic cards. Also, on top of that, I take a look at, you know, Zebic not too long ago having a partnership with something called Lattice, and Lattice is supposedly the first neobank built on something called Canton, and Canton seems to be, you know, gaining momentum in terms of popularity. So really, in the grand scheme of things, yes, sure, I get it. Zebic seems to be doing more things, but if we take a look at something like Onyx, what it may lose in terms of the diversity of the fundamentals, it makes up for in the amount of holders. XCN has around 145,000 holders. ZBCN has around 90,000. So, in my perspective, it's kind of like tomato, tomato, right? That's the way you take a look at it. It's like either a BMW or a Mercedes Benz. I don't care about the difference. It's like tomato, tomato. That's the way you take a look at it. But I am not telling anyone to do anything. That's just my mindset. So I still believe in both projects. I still believe in Onyx. I still believe in Zebic as well. But in the meantime, though, you know, sure, discussions when it comes to Onyx hasn't been doing the best, but I feel like they're still doing some things, right? May not be the most things, but at least they're doing something, working towards the mainnet of their layer 1 blockchain. You know, I'm not going to complain about that. So I think the faster they could do that, the better, but we'll wait and see. So ultimately, you know, my routine as of right now is just still living my life. I'm still doing the things that I'm doing, like eating, of course, brushing my teeth and stuff like that, taking a shower. But what happens in the background? I'm still holding XCN. It's a background activity. That's the way to take a look at it. It's an accessory to my life. I'm voluntarily choosing to do so, right? I don't have to do it, but I'm voluntarily choosing to do so because I feel like by me holding it requires no extra effort. And if I'm looking at news and the updates and stuff, that's stuff I would naturally do anyways. So it doesn't require any sort of additional pressure by me holding Onyx. So again, there's a lot of things I could do as of right now, but there's one thing I don't want to do, and that is leave, especially as of right now. But I am not telling anyone to do anything. This is just my personal mindset, and hopefully I'll see y'all in future videos. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'm out. Peace. Bye.